1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whatever. Hi, how's it going? Hi.
I'm not going to stop sitting in this chair.
No, I wouldn't either if I were you. Blah, blah, blah.
Where is Nate these days?
I don't know.
I haven't seen him today.
Maybe he's not coming back quite yet. Oh, Troy. You're so weird.
What did he do?
You just came and messed with my stuff for a minute.
Seems
You know, the other day he came up to me and very ominously said, you know, it's really upsetting when women get beaten up.
Someone told me that day, like last week.
Told you what?
Someone told me that they I told you that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dang, I told you.
About women getting beaten
Yeah.
up?
Oh, okay.
Someone else told you it was sad that it was sad when women get...
Did you not know previously?
I mean, like, did you think it was cool before? Let's ignore the fact that he used to threaten to beat me up all the time. Oh my God, I can't believe you didn't say such a thing.
Are you saying I would?
I'm saying you have threatened.
I have?
You
What's wrong
have.
with you?
What's wrong with you?
What? All right, lady.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you. Oh, that's a early release. I'm a dumb dumb. What? What'd you say?
No one would dare threaten a beautiful lady's spawn.
I don't think that's what you said. And I certainly think that's not what you mean. Shoot. I wish I had like half an hour more of planning right now. Hi, how are you?
Oh, that was so scary. I thought I was in trouble. She came in and looked right at me.
Yesterday, I don't know what was wrong with me. I was sitting here in exactly this position. I was looking in this notebook, and somehow Sean Stover came in this room and stood right here without me noticing that he had come in. So I was just like, oh my God. It's like, he scared the poop out of me.
Yeah, she peeked her head in the room and made eye contact with me. Right away. And then just looking.
That's a little bit more unnerving when she goes from like June to hi.
Yeah, that was terrifying.
She can be scary.
I thought I was gonna die. So what are we doing today?
We're gonna do some discussion and then we're gonna read a bit. Okay.
So unproductive yesterday. I didn't even-
You know, I felt kind of unproductive yesterday too,
I wish I could have gotten more things done.
which is not
I was
fair.
like, I should really do that, and then I proceeded to not do it. With no motivation.
Lecture, prompt, blah, blah, quiz. Okay, so this is where blah, 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 blah. I need to push everything off a week. Fudge. I don't know how to do this. I'm trying to plan too far in advance. Let's do short story essay.
Plan all the way in advance.
I'm trying to plan one class all the way in advance. Let's see, how old am I? I'm hoping to just be alive. I'll be nearly 83. Okay, I guess I should start. We only got 4 people in the room in the yeah. Maybe they'll
I wouldn't
show
join
up.
Miss McClellan's class the other, or not Miss McClellan, Miss Petty's class the other morning.
But you hit mine instead.
No.
Oh.
No, I just joined it and the class, and she was like in class, but the message that popped up on my screen was like, she hasn't started the meeting yet. And so I waited for 5 minutes and I was like, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe there's no class today because it's Wednesday.
Yeah.
And some of the teachers were just like, in the class.
Yeah.
So that's what I figured. No, I haven't absent.
How strange.
Yeah.
Um,
Zoom meeting.
I got a note. I think it was yesterday. I got a notification. It was either Tuesday or Wednesday. I got a notification like beginning of first period that you had joined my room. And I was
Yeah,
like, oh, that's just a mistake.
that was probably Wednesday because I left Miss Petty's room afterward and just joined your room right away. Because that's just whenever I'm done
Yeah,
being in the previous class, I'll just join the waiting room.
that makes sense. This
That
is,
way I can goof around and I just know my class has started.
yeah, that makes sense. It's practical. Sorry guys, I'm just like, I'm waiting a few minutes to see who else we get in this room. And also like several of your, I don't even know why I'm talking because several people have their audios not connected yet. They can't hear me.
Is it your computer being weird and they're all just
I don't know.
waiting and they're like, why is it being-
I do not know. Video instructions, literary devices. That's a long PowerPoint. Yeah. And general info. Essay tips. Oh, God, so many things. Thesis, topic sentences, body paragraphs.
I got new Congress.
Yeah, you said 3 new pairs?
Oh, yeah. I have like 4 talking points.
It's still exciting. I only have 4 talking points in my whole life. MLA, do we really need to go back through all that? I mean, I guess we do. Let's just do this. MLA, etc.
We're gonna go over MLA format.
No, not in this class. I mean, we will a little bit, but when we have our next essay,
No.
which will be around the middle of Frankenstein. So it'll be, I don't know.
What's it gonna be about? I hate writing essays so much.
It's about a topic in Frankenstein and kind of like what you think the right decision is to
I can
make.
deal with that.
Yeah.
I am a master at writing a pretty good essay the night before it's due. If I start writing like within a reasonable time,
Yeah.
it's almost definitely gonna be a bad essay. But if I wait until like the day of and then I just jot down a whole bunch of ideas and submit my first draft, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get like 80 or 90.
Sorry, I wish I'd been able to finish this, but it's hard to go from one class to the other right away. But I was gonna say, I thought it was really interesting in one of my other classes, my English 101 class, I gave them like a month to do a research essay, or like very nearly a month. And when the class was over, I had a day where we just kind of like reflected about the class and like the pacing and structure and everything and how well it worked for them. And I did have some people, say that I gave them too much time, which I was like, thanks for letting me know that. Because they're like, if we have that much time, we'll forget about it and put it off, and then we'll like be there at the last second and not be able to do it. And since that's my 101 class, which is a Trident class, I can't give anybody extra time or anything like that. It's not up to me. So, all right, let's see who all we've got here today. Well, we will see that if my Power School will cooperate. McClellan. All right, all right. We have Ian Person, Corey virtually. No Christian. Christian's almost always here. How strange. No, no. I hate to hear that.
She's been being mean to people for no reason. And it's really getting under my skin.
How rude.
Let me see. Oh, see.
No Nate.
I've only heard of. I like a scene. Person.
No, I haven't
Like,
either.
him and, who is it? Sterling. Like, got into it a little bit. Over the Zoom chat in Stover's class.
Sterling, you and Christian got into it
It was,
over
it was-
Zoom
it was
and
just kinda like, poke.
in Stover's class?
Maybe.
I don't know. I definitely side with Sterling in that whole situation. We should just get on here.
All right, now we got Hayward in here. Oh gosh, it's so like having. This is one of the reasons I wish that we could have everybody in person, ideally, because like doing attendance, you have to like go back and forth, and there's all these different codes. And when somebody comes in late, you got to come in change it. It's just like it takes 20 minutes to do attendance. That's an exaggeration, but
You're welcome.
okay, let me just double check that I got everybody correctly. Hayward's here now. Troy's in person.
Is Sterling
Eli's
say anything?
I asked him and he said maybe. Sterling and Ondarius. Okay, we got a couple people out, but I don't know where they might be. I'm gonna use my rolling desk so that I can kind of be closer to everybody. I love it. It's so handy. It is loud in the hallway. Like sometimes if I have to go visit another teacher about something, I'll just like keep it and like walk down the hall. It's very loud out there, but it's all right. Okay, so we are going to do some reading today, but I want to do some discussion first about what we've read so far. Okay, let me think of where I want to start. I guess I should talk about the letters a bit. We're beyond them now, but
So far, I think it's really good.
you think it's really boring. That's fair. It takes a while to like get into it. And like I said from the beginning, it's like it's tough to read. Like it's so the language is so antiquated that it's kind of easy to get bogged down in it.
Can we not get like a revised version of that?
I want to write a revised version. Yes, like
Why has nobody done that?
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I think the only thing I've seen one is like a young readers edition, which would be too elementary and like not give all the plot. And the other one, which is very cool, is a graphic novel of it. But last I checked, I couldn't find a PDF of that. And I've never used it to teach either, but I'd like to at some point. What is that noise? Frankenstein.
So
I wonder if I
I've
can find
seen
this.
Frankenstein with those little like, or the monster.
Yeah,
The little pointy things.
yeah.
Is that is
That's fake. Like that's Hollywood.
is that his? But is that being like a stimulated? electricity?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I was kind of trying to see if I could find a PDF of the graphic novel, but I think I'm not going to have any luck. Oh, hang on. That's not what I said. I actually never seen that movie. What's that movie called? What's that movie? The Oh Hi Mark? What? The Room. I've never seen it. I want to see if I can do this.
I don't think I've even heard of it.
It's supposed to be the worst movie ever made.
Oh.
And
no, I
then
have seen The Room.
James Franco and what's his name did the movie about the making of that movie.
Yeah, and the Tommy Wiseau.
Yes.
Wait, what movie?
The Room.
Are we thinking about two different movies?
I don't know.
The
There's
Brie Lar-
then there's I can't remember the name of the movie. The James Franco movie about the making of The Room.
I'm thinking about a Brie Larson movie called Room.
Oh no, that's a different movie. That's an excellent movie though. Hard to watch, but an excellent movie. I like that one a lot. I'm gonna keep kind of looking around to see if I can find this graphic novel. I'm not gonna make any promises on it because it's looking like it's hard to find. But it would be really nice. It's also just cool. It's a cool book. I first saw it when I was student teaching, and I was like, oh shoot, I need to get that. Even though honestly the monster in it looks kind of like an emo rocker. like that's a weird interpretation. But I'll see if I can.
I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that interpretation. It's not what I think of when I read the descriptions of the monster, but yeah.
Does anybody else think they should just pull the plug on the Marvel franchise at this point? After they made
I do.
Endgame?
Yes.
They just tied everything up beautifully.
Yes.
Please, Disney, don't Disney this franchise.
I completely agree. If y'all can't hear Chip, he's asking, does anybody else think that we should just end the Marvel franchise? And I do. It's too much commitment for me. Like, I have to see all of these movies in order to put all the story together. It's too much. And then you have like shows on Disney Plus and all these things.
Disregard the shows.
I've heard WandaVision is good, but
I bet it will be good. And I'll probably watch it. But like the Agent Carter thing, I didn't watch that. I didn't watch any of those.
I didn't either.
Well, here's the amazing thing about Captain America. He first saved his friend, then he saved the world, then he became president of the United States.
Okay.
The old Captain America looks exactly like Joe Biden.
Oh, I guess I can kind of see that. I hadn't thought about it, but yeah, I can see that. Captain America is the most boring one to me. Like the movies.
No.
It's like white bread superhero.
Yeah.
Those boring movies like Thor 1 and 2.
Oh, I like the Thor movies. I like them
better.
better than the Captain America movies. I really like the third one. Loki's like my favorite person in the universe. So
He's so annoying. Though.
he's so annoying. He's like
he pushes
such a little. He's the kind of person that, like, if he were my student, I would hate teaching him, but like love him as a human. Like I feel like he would be like my nemesis / favorite. What? Ethan. Thank the Lord every day I never actually had to teach him. Okay, we should talk about Frankenstein. Let's continue talking about Marvel. It is too much. Marvel's just too much for me. I just can't. What have I not seen? I haven't seen the Brie Larson movie. What's she called?
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That may be the only one.
I feel like Brie Larson was a terrible pick, honestly.
Yeah.
I like Brie Larson pretty well. I don't feel like she was the right pick.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen the Spider-Man movies.
The new.
Yeah, I haven't seen any
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
what's gonna go
There's
on
2 of
there?
them, right?
Sony's like 9. 'Cause there
I don't
was that
know.
whole issue.
Yeah, that's
Where Sony
right.
took Spider-Man back.
Huh. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I don't know. And now like Thor is not gonna be Thor anymore. Or like Jane's gonna become Thor. I don't really understand all that. I don't understand how it works. I love Fat Thor. Oh my God, some kid, who were they insulting? And they said that he looked like Fat Thor. I can't remember. It was so funny though. That's such a good insult. You look like Fat Thor.
The way you phrase that though is you look like Thor after he fell off. Because that's even worse. Like you can call him Fat Thor, but that's
Thor after he fell off.
wonderful.
Like Yeah, kind of wish I could remember who they were talking about because they're like, I told him he looked like Thor, and I was like, that's not an insult. Chris Hemsworth is beautiful, and he was like, Thor in Endgame. So funny. I feel like it was maybe Thomas Chapman who said it, but I don't remember who he was talking about. I know, right? Okay. First of all, in the letter portion, when Walton first meets Frankenstein, Frankenstein kind of gives this whole speech about how he suffered great and unparalleled misfortunes. He had determined at one time that the memory of these evils should die with him. You seek for knowledge and wisdom as I once did, and I ardently hope that the gratification of your wishes may not be a serpent to sting you as mine have been. Basically saying, I've had to go through a lot of stuff in order to get where I am. I did a lot of terrible things and I learned from it. I wasn't going to tell anybody about it. I was going to let this story die with me, but maybe you might be able to learn from it and not make the same mistakes that I did. So he's talking about knowledge and wisdom. And sometimes we use those two words interchangeably, but they're not necessarily the same. What do you guys think is the difference between wisdom and knowledge?
Like knowledge or something that everyone bookshelves in the what knowledge is like your book smarts, whereas
I'm rolling closer to you so that everyone else can hear you.
wisdom, I think, is a slightly more practical type of knowing. Everything.
Okay.
You know, good and bad decision making is going to be wisdom, whereas knowing whatever that book is about.
I have no knowledge of that book. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good.
Being a studied student is going to be your knowledge,
Yeah.
whereas life experience is wisdom.
Okay, so knowledge is like book learning, and oh, here comes Christian Cromwell. Late. And wisdom is knowing the difference between right and wrong.
Yeah, that's something. That's basically what I was going to say too. Like knowledge is learned, wisdom is experienced.
Okay, I like
Yeah, I
that.
said right and wrong. That's just an example. That's not like what I'm defining.
What, now Nate's coming. Why am I getting all these people super late today? Yeah. Now everybody's here in some way or another.
I like it.
My what? Oh, thank you. I love him so much. Those of you who just joined us, we were talking, well, for a long time, we were talking about Marvel movies, to be fair. But then we started talking about the difference between wisdom and knowledge. And we're kind of saying that knowledge is learned and wisdom is what you learn from experience. Being able to like discern what you should do in certain situations. And I think that's pretty well said. I feel like Victor Frankenstein is on a quest for knowledge, but
How does he spell Victor?
Victor. But then he really does not have enough wisdom to know what to do with the knowledge that he gains. And I'm excited to get into the next few chapters and where he actually starts like hatching his plan to create this monster. I thought you had something to say. I thought you were gonna make an announcement.
Like the knowledge. He just like stood up and like I think he like even walked all the way up.
You weirdo! What are you doing? What's this like? Just standing up and
I mean, I guess
making like we all can. It's not a big deal, but
That's great. Y'all gotta stand up.
yeah, we're all stretching, guys. We're just all. Ian's not. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm stretched out enough. It's fine. Look at all your friends and classmates. Oh, I'm gonna be so sad when you graduate. Yeah, he's just so strange in the best ways. let me think. What else do I want to talk about? So I have like a list of questions, but some of them are phrased so stupidly, or are like not questions.
Some of them are what?
They're phrased really stupidly, or
Oh, I
like
thought you
not
said
really
more
questions.
racist. That's why
Really? No, they're not racist. Mm,
I said racist questions.
There's not really like. I mean, to be fair, I don't think we encounter anyone who's not like white European in this book.
Or doesn't it take place in like Germany?
In Switzerland.
Yeah.
Yeah. And particularly in the 1800s. That's not going to be like a melting pot. I don't have any racist questions, but there's a little bit of classism. We met Elizabeth, who's the little girl. And it's like a little bit of a weird situation because she's the adopted daughter, but Victor calls her cousin. But the understanding is they're gonna grow up and get married. It's a weird thing. It's like, hey, I got you a present. It's a wife for later.
That's a really weird way to get away with incest.
It's a really weird way. I know. Like, what?
What are we doing today?
Oh, we're just discussing right now. We will start reading in a minute, but we're discussing some of the stuff that we already read.
All right.
So like Elizabeth at first is an orphan. She's like very destitute, but they choose to bring her in anyway, mostly because she's pretty. Like the way that they describe her, it's like her hair was the brightest living gold, and it set a crown of distinction upon her head. It is cute. I know, that's a nice way. You've got a crown of distinction upon your head, don't you?
That's kind of weird,
Her brow is clear and ample. Well, that's a weird thing to say, I feel like. Ample. She has an ample brow. She's got enough of it to go around. It's a weird compliment. Cloudless blue eyes. Her lips and the molding of her face are so expressive of sensibility and sweetness that none could behold her without looking on her as of a distinct species, a being heaven sent and bearing a celestial stamp in all her features. He's maybe overdoing it a little bit. However, if he's telling us the story from like years in the future, he's got basically a lifetime worth of thinking about her and growing to love her. So we're seeing her through his perspective. Yes. And for the record, the way he talks about her is always kind of over the top like this. He really, like, the way that she is pictured is like angelic.
Because if it's just one time, it really reminds me of
Yes, honestly,
It's
yes.
very backhanded, and you only do it one time. It's ridiculous.
Hamlet and Victor Frankenstein actually remind me a lot of each other. I think that Victor Frankenstein is a little bit more like he's probably like more left brain and Hamlet's more right brain. They're both super intelligent, but not all that wise.
I have never understood the expression. That's never been.
What expression?
Left brain and right brain.
Oh, so left brain is more like
It's a science
it's like analytical, more like science and math, more logic, and right brain is more creativity, emotion, that kind of thing. So, I mean, obviously we both use both sides of our, like Hamlet's more emotional. Victor Frankenstein is very emotional at times, but I wish we had the senior class this year. Next year, I'm doing senior advising as a class, like along with Miss Darling to do capstone stuff. I wish we were doing it this year because one thing that we're going to do is like basically a getting to know yourself unit. And we're going to do like personality tests and stuff. And one of them is the Enneagram, which is a thing I've probably mentioned in class before. I'm super into. And it's really cool. It's like you're one of 9 types, and it just says a lot about like the way that you function. And It's very similar to that. Very similar to that, yeah. And I have a habit of like kind of trying to diagnose characters as a particular Enneagram. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, they're so similar, but Victor Frankenstein is a little bit more intelligent, a little bit more focused. I think he's a 5-wing 4. I think Hamlet is a 4-wing 5, which like doesn't make sense if you don't know anything about the Enneagram, but that's just me being a nerd. But I did want to go back for a second to how Elizabeth is always painted so much as being like an angel. And it's that way the whole book. Like, it seems like she does no wrong, which like, of course, she's probably not a perfect person, but seeing her through Victor's eyes, that's what she looks like. We know that she is scheduled to be married to Victor. And from Walton's letters, we know that he's kind of a troubled dude. It's interesting to go ahead and think about like how that's going to work in their relationship. We are going to see like the entirety of their relationship. Pretty much. But this is a thing you guys can start thinking about, what ways she might kind of be a foil to Victor. And we talked about foils when we were doing Hamlet, because he had all these characters that could potentially be a foil for him. So just to remind everybody, a foil would be a character that through their qualities, the differences between the other character are more highlighted. So like Laertes was a really good foil for Hamlet because they had a lot in common. Like the way that they grew up, they were both like aristocratic. They were both emotional. But Hamlet, one of the things that Laertes, in comparison, really brought out about Hamlet was how much Hamlet had to like think through every decision and talk through everything, and he was really slow to act. Laertes might have felt the same things that Hamlet felt, but he just jumped right into action.
See, when I was reading through it, I didn't know that Laertes was like
You didn't feel like he was a good foil?
No, I felt like they were way too different. And
Okay, that's fair.
I felt like Horatio was a great.
Horatio is also a
Was the
good
one
foil.
that came to mind when I thought of
Mhm.
someone who I feel like their personality contrasts starkly against Hamlet,
Mhm.
but they interact enough, I guess.
Yeah.
That I can get.
And that's a good point, because Laertes and Hamlet don't interact that much, so you don't get to see as much through their
I feel like
interactions.
you only see that for
Mhm. But Horatio would be a good one too. And there's almost never a situation where it's like this person is definitely the foil and no one else is. Like, you can kind of interpret different ways, or like some people might think that certain people work better as foils. There are like 3 characters at least in this book, maybe 4, that could be a foil for Victor Frankenstein. And Elizabeth is one of those. And I think we can kind of already see that happening a little bit just because they are so different. They're connected. We'll see a lot of interaction between them, but she's nearly perfect. She's angelic. She seems to have no flaws. He's very flawed. He's got so many flaws. And I think he probably kind of sees his own flaws more when compared to her. He's like, I could never be as good and angelic as she is. It is sad and cute. It can be both. Let's see. Victor is in hungry for knowledge. Huh. Oh, okay. We can't go into this yet. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. Okay. Instead, we will. I was about to skip ahead. We haven't started the next chapter yet. Instead, we can go ahead and start reading a bit of chapter 2.
I really enjoy the fact that I just assumed this Troy who
I was teaching to Ian too. Troy's not paying attention to me anyway. See?
wasn't
You were talking more, so I wanted to be closer to you so everybody could hear you.
very confident.
Yeah, I feel like Monday I was just like it's like suddenly I had people with me.
So did you ever find yourself teaching to just an empty classroom?
Yeah. Like where all the kids were.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out how many teachers were coming into the classroom to teach.
I mean, we were supposed to be here basically the whole time. When we came back from Christmas, we had a week where we could teach from home, and then we were supposed to come back in. Obviously, like if there was some extenuating circumstance, then it was fine if we wanted to teach at home. And like now on Wednesdays, if we needed to teach at home, we could. Come on, you garbage thing. What is this? The internet men came in here the other day and messed with everything. And hopefully now I've got sound coming through the screen, which I did not before. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that was really cool. You like Harry Potter.
I did. Wandless magic. Okay. However, now I have like a million things popping up on here. And the spinning beach ball of doom. All right. Look at that. That's trash. Oh, thank you. I didn't see the comment about my cool Beatles
Did
posters.
anybody else ever like look at themselves on the Zoom camera and realize that you're just an incredibly use your computer?
Yes. And you know how like the you that you see in the mirror is not really what you look like. And so I had to send a video of me because like what I'm looking at right now, that looks like me, but when I watch it back, it doesn't look like me because it's flipped. And I had to record something for another class, and it was like for younger students to watch. And once I saw it, I was like, I don't want them to think I look like that, even though I do. And so I flipped the video before I sent it to them because I was like, I want to do like the best looking version of myself.
Just inverting the camera so that things look natural.
Yes. Also, okay, this is super unrelated and we are going to read, but I just found the other day on Zoom under preferences. Where is it? Video. You can do this thing, touch up my appearance. And at first I didn't notice any difference, but there is actually quite a difference. And I sort of see that now.
How does that work? That seems-
Put me back on there. Come on, make me the big video.
just click yourself twice.
I didn't know that was a thing. So it's just more filtered. I don't actually like it as improved as it says it is.
Want less improvement.
Adjust for low light. Oh, there's so many things. So many things I can do. All right. I'm not gonna bother though. Also, now I'm noticing that my mask is really crooked. Doesn't matter. Look at that. There's two of me.
Have you seen that? Oh,
Oh
tilt
my
your computer up just a little bit.
god.
Awesome.
That's so fun. Okay, sorry. That's
You're not gonna be able
fascinating.
to stop looking at it.
I know. I just want to I want to make a music video of it. That's so fun. I'm like my own kaleidoscope. Wild. All right, we don't have that much time left, so we should start reading chapter 2. Where is it? Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so where we left off on chapter 1.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I found out through your class that being read to just knocks me out. Just
Oh no.
Somebody reads me a story, and it's happened in your class like multiple times, and then I have to go back and read the story myself. So
Oh no, that sucks. Also, so one thing I'm thinking about for, I told you guys I'm trying to get us on more of a weekly schedule. And hopefully by next week I'll have that figured out a little bit better. But I might have like a day. I feel like Wednesdays I might either like you guys work on a project if we have one at the time. I'm gonna take this off for just a second to adjust it because it's bothering me. Or have you read on your own. And
No reading on our own.
well, here's what I was gonna say. We're reading most of this out loud in class together. So you're gonna get the info you need. If I have you read on your own, I'm not saying use Spark Notes, but if you want to use Spark Notes to help you understand it, there isn't anything wrong with that. Like, give it a go and try to read it. But if you're like, I don't know what's going on,
I'm just gonna find
use
like,
Spark Notes, use Schmoop. Like, it's not
my dad's old clip in his books.
with the yellow on the side. It's not against the law for you to use it. Like, the reason that people that you kind of grow up hearing don't use Spark Notes is because you want to make sure that you have all the information, and that still
It makes
that still
school
goes
unfairly easy.
yeah, for sure. But you know, I mean, the thing is, when I'm teaching a book that I haven't read in a while, I'm probably not gonna read the whole book again, but I'll go back and Spark Note it just to remind myself, like, oh, this is what happens in the first chapter. Like, I might remember all the events of the book, but not in order. So I'll just go back and kind of look back over Spark Notes to remind myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So that being said, let's start chapter 2. You want me to read really dramatically, and then maybe it'll help you stay awake? I can try. Let me share my screen with you guys, even though I hate to get rid of my little kaleidoscope. It's so fun. Anybody want to read? Anybody want to read dramatically? Okay. We were brought up together, we being him and Elizabeth. There was not quite a year difference in our ages. 1 second. I can't see my clock, so I need to make sure here. Okay. 9:47. We got a little bit. Mine says 9:46.
Well, it's just my watch, so
Okay.
it's very popular.
I need not say that we were strangers to any species of disunion or dispute. Harmony was the soul of our companionship, and the diversity and contrast that subsisted in our characters drew us nearer together. Elizabeth was of a calmer and more concentrated disposition, but with all my ardor, vocabulary word, I was capable of a more intense application and was more deeply smitten with a thirst for knowledge. He's smitten with a thirst for knowledge. That's the thing he cares most about. She busied herself with following the aerial creations of the poets, and in the majestic and wondrous scenes which surround our Swiss home, the sublime shapes of the mountains, the changes of the seasons, tempest and calm, the silence of winter. Why do you have to tell us all of this, Victor? She found ample scope for admiration and delight. While my companion contemplated with a serious and satisfied spirit the magnificent appearances of things, I delighted in investigating their causes. I feel like that's really setting up some sort of foil stuff between them. Like, while she liked this thing, I liked this completely separate thing. She was into this, I was into the opposite. But they work together, they get along. He loves her so much, and vice versa. Opposites attract, exactly. That's very true. My sister and her husband couldn't be more different, but somehow they make it work. Curiosity. Oh, sorry, I skipped a whole sentence there. The world to me was a secret which I desired to divine. Curiosity, earnest research to learn the hidden laws of nature, gladness akin to rapture as they were unfolded to me, are among the earliest sensations I can remember. On the birth of a second son, my junior by 7 years, my parents gave up entirely their wandering life. Sorry, this is like really itching my nose, and fixed themselves in their native country. We possessed a house in Geneva and a campagne, I don't know, on Belle Rive, the eastern shore of the lake, at the distance of rather more than a league from the city. See, this is the kind of thing that makes it a little bit dull. Like, we don't need to know how many leagues you live from the city, Victor. We don't even know the geography of the city. I feel like it's so much like the way that, like,
The only book that she wrote.
this is the only book she wrote, yeah.
Yeah, same as what's the other one? To Kill a Mockingbird.
Yes,
Except she published that other book because that lawyer wanted her.
that's right. And I didn't read that second book, but I heard horrible things about it.
I won't read it.
Nobody seemed to like it at all. Yeah, I feel like this is like talking to, you know how some people just like talk, and you're like trying to get away from them, but like they just don't take the hint. I feel like that's Victor Frankenstein. You're like, I don't need to know about your childhood home. I don't understand the geography of Geneva. It's fine. But he's just like, I did this and blah, blah, blah. So he was in school, blah, blah. It was my temper to avoid a crowd and to attach myself fervently to a few. Same, Victor. I was indifferent, therefore, to my school fellows in general, but I united myself in the bonds of the closest friendship to one among them. Henry Clerval was the son of a merchant of Geneva. Henry will stay with us throughout this book. He was a boy of singular talent and fancy. He loved enterprise, hardship, and even danger for its own sake.
Singular talent?
Yeah, like
That's a really fun way to call something like a single thing.
he means like no one has talent like him,
Oh, okay.
like a unique talent.
So it is okay.
It's a compliment, yeah.
Okay.
He was deeply read in books of chivalry and romance. He composed heroic songs and began to write many a tale of enchantment and knightly adventure. He tried to make us act plays and to enter into masquerades in which the characters were drawn from the heroes of the Round Table of King Arthur and the chivalrous train who shed their blood to redeem the Holy Sepulchre from the hands of the infidels. Henry sounds like a blast. No human being could have passed a happier childhood than myself. My parents were possessed by the very spirit of kindness and indulgence. We felt that they were not the tyrants to rule our lot according to their caprice, but the agents and creators of all the many delights which we carried. When I mingled with other families, I distinctly discerned how particularly fortunate my lot was, and gratitude assisted the development of filial love. He's basically like just trying to tell us what a happy childhood he had, and that's not to rub it in anyone's face. That's to go ahead and kind of set that up that like that's not going to be the state of things that remains.
Love is filial love again?
Family. My temper was sometimes violent and my passions vehement, but by some law in my temperature, they were turned not towards childish pursuits, but to an eager desire to learn, and not to learn all things indiscriminately. I confess that neither the structure of languages, nor the code of the government, nor the politics of various states possessed attractions for me. It was the secrets of heaven and earth that I desired to learn. And whether it was the mysterious soul of man that occupied me, I don't know how I just lost that. Whether it was the outward substance of things or the inner spirit of nature and the mysterious soul of man that occupied me, still my inquiries were directed to the metaphysical, or in its highest sense, the physical secrets of the world. I mean, that's a very big, vague, nebulous thing for a kid to be concerned with, but that's what he wants to know. How does the world work? The secrets of heaven and earth. Is there God? All this stuff. How was the world created? That's what he cares about. Like to think about, he doesn't say how old he is here, but to think about like a 10-year-old being like, is heaven real?
Yeah, that sounds like me. I mean, that's wild, but yeah.
You might be a Victor Frankenstein.
I hope not.
He's not great. I feel like a Victor Frankenstein sometimes, but not in our worst qualities. Meanwhile, Clerval occupied himself, so to speak, with the moral relations of things. The busy stage of life, the virtues of heroes, and the actions of men were his theme, and his hope and his dream was to become one among those whose names are recorded in story as the gallant and adventurous benefactors of our species. The saintly soul of Elizabeth shone like a shrine-dedicated lamp in our peaceful home. Her sympathy was ours, her smile, her soft voice, the sweet glance of her celestial eyes were ever there to bless and animate us. She was the living spirit of love to soften and attract. I might have become sullen in my study, rough through the ardor of my nature, but that she was there to subdue me to a semblance of her own gentleness. And Clerval, could aught ill entrench on the noble spirit? Like, could no one talk crap about the soft spirit of Clerval? Yet he might not have been so perfectly humane, so thoughtful in his generosity, so full of kindness and tenderness amidst his passion for adventurous exploit, had she not unfolded to him the real loveliness of beneficence, and made the doing good the end and aim of his soaring ambition. So Henry Clerval is sort of possibly set up as another foil for Victor. Like they both have this really strong interest in learning. They're best friends. They get along a lot, but Victor's very like studious. He wants to learn about all these sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, existential ideas. And Henry is much more like in the moment. He wants to learn about morality. He seems to be more emotional. He's more into like adventure. But again, Elizabeth is the person who she seems to be sort of like the moral compass of all these people. Like she calms them down. She soothes their spirits. She just seems to be like, again, there's a lot of imagery and comparisons where she's sort of painted as like an angel. Let me kind of look ahead just a little bit. I'll just read this paragraph and then I'll stop for the day. I feel exquisite pleasure in dwelling on the recollections of childhood before misfortune had tainted my mind and changed its bright visions of extensive usefulness into gloomy and narrow reflections upon self. Besides drawing the picture of early days, I also record those events which led by insensible steps to my after tale of misery. For when I would account to myself for the birth of that passion, which afterwards ruled my destiny, I find it arise like a mountain river from ignoble and almost forgotten sources. But swelling as it proceeded, it became a torrent, which in its course has swept away all my hopes and joys. That's just sort of like a bit of foreshadowing. He's like, I'm telling you about all this stuff because all of that contributes to what happens, like my downfall. And he's really telling us the story of his downfall. His passion, which we already know, is like to create life or prevent death. And he kind of realizes that is not something he should mess around with, and a lot of horrible things happen because of it, which we will learn about later. But I'm going to go ahead and end today because we're about to get into some stuff about like his schooling and everything. And we only have 3 minutes left, so I feel like that's going to take some explanation, and we'll just put it off till tomorrow. We'll finish reading this chapter tomorrow, and then I'll give you all time to work on your brochures. Anything for the good of the group before I let you guys go?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. No, I'll go back and change. I think I already did go back and change it, Christian. So those of you who came in late, I'll double check on that.
You should mark them tardy.
I'm not allowed to. It's so stupid. I'm not allowed to mark anybody tardy if they are tardy virtually.
Abstinent.
I just have to mark them absent until they get here and then change it to present. If you guys are tardy in person, I can mark you tardy, but it's just like, did that person participate virtually? It's real dumb. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.